For this video, what I really want to talk about in this video, is the 2025 schedule. It's the 2025 NASCAR season. NASCAR has finally released its 2025 schedule, and I'm going to discuss some of my likes and dislikes about the 20. And I'm going to discuss what I like about the 2025 schedule, and I'm going to discuss what I don't like about the 2025 schedule. This segment's going to cover what I like about the 2025 schedule. Are we heading back to the in the T? I'm gonna discuss the TV deal of the 2025 schedule. Are we heading back to the 1990s? Is NASCAR heading back? Is NASCAR literally heading back to the 1990s when it comes to its TV deals? Because because in the 2025 schedule, we get not one, not two, not three, but four. The four different TV stations in one season. In the single NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season, we're getting four TV deals, just like what happened in the 1990s. Because before NASCAR was held on Fox in 2021, in 2001, NASCAR was on several different TV stations throughout the season. The Daytona 500 was on CBS. The Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway was also on CBS. Texas was on CBS. Silver Races was held on CBS. Silver Races was held on Turner Broadcast. Was held on Turner Broadcast, the TBS Superstation. But the rest of the majority of the season, starting with the second race of Rockingham back in 1992, but however in '92, the second race was actually at Richmond. Throughout the majority of the season from the 1980s all the way to 2000, ESPN will host the majority of that season, including the championship race at Atlanta. Just like the 1992 Hooters 500, which Allen won the championship. It was held on ESPN. Are we really heading back to 1990? Are we really heading back to the 1990s on the TV deals? Because in 2025, the first 12 races will be held on Fox. From the Daytona 500, in the Speed Week in the Clash, will also be held on Fox. The Fox section of the season will be aired on from the Clash all the way to the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. And then a repeat for the first time ever since 2000. The first time ever since the 1990s, the Coca-Cola 600 will be aired. The Coca-Cola 600, the longest race of the season, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, for the first time since the year 2000, will be aired at a different TV station. Amazon Prime. Coca-Cola 600 will be broadcasted on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime will also host a couple of races. I think from the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte all the way to the junior race at Sonoma. And then TNT is going to have a section. And then TNT is going to have a section of races. And then the last 15 races of the season will be hosted on NBC. Just like what happened with ESPN. ESPN will host the last race of the season. NBC will host the last race of the season. Just like what we saw in the 1990s. So it's clearly becoming the 1990s. The only the TV station, the TV deals, it's also changing with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. CW will be hosting the Xfinity Series instead of Fox Prime and TNT and NBC. And all the Xfinity races will be held on the CW network. From the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500 to the Xfinity Series version of the championship, all the races will be held on the CW. But the only thing that's not changing is the Truck Series. The Truck Series, all the races will be held. As far as I know, the Truck Series, all the races will be held on Fox. FS1. Fox Sports will cover the whole season of the Truck Series. From the Truck Series version of the Daytona 500 until the championship, until the season finale at Phoenix. The Truck Series will so far be aired on Fox. But for the Sprint Cup Series, but for the Sprint Cup Series TV deal, it really is starting to feel like the 1990s again. With four separate TV stations covering 36 races of the Sprint Cup Series season. It really is starting to feel like the 1990s again. And I also found out there were several changes. There were several changes made on the schedule in the 2025 Sprint Cup Series schedule, as well as the 2025 Xfinity Series schedule. One of the changes is that for the first time ever, I think since 1996, for the first time since 1996 and 1997, because the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, they did race international. They did have an international race in 1996 and 1997. It wasn't a points paying race, but it wasn't international. But it was outside the United States. They had an exhibition race at Darlington. They had an exhibition race in Japan. And I think the Xfinity Series, they also had an international race. It was held at Twin Cities. It was held at Twin Ring Matichi, a super speedway in Japan, an oval track in Japan. But in 2025, in the 2025 schedule, for the first time since 1998, for the first time since they ran an international race in Japan, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series will have a race outside of the United States. They will have a race in Mexico City, the road course in Mexico City. NASCAR has not raced at that track since 2006 with the Xfinity Series. But it's not the Xfinity Series racing in Mexico City this time in 2025. It is the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Keep in mind, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is going to Mexico City, in the road course in Mexico City. And they had not raced international since 1998. And they had not raced a points race in an international racetrack since 1974. NASCAR's going to break that hiatus in 2025 by letting the Sprint Cup Series race outside the border in the United States. And I wonder if that trend's going to continue. If they're successful in Mexico City for the Sprint Cup Series, I don't know if that trend is going to continue on, and they have a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race in Canada, in the Canadian Tire Motorsports, in the road course held in Canadian Tire. Because right now the Truck Series has one road course race in Canada so far, Canadian Tire. Which truck series will have 3 road courses next season? They will have Canadian Tire. They will have Lime Rock, and they will for the first time, the truck series will have the Charlotte Road Course, the Charlotte Motor Speedway Road Course, aka the Charlotte Oval. But what really shocked me was the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heading to Mexico for the first time, and they had not raced internationally since 1998. In points wise, they had not raced internationally since 1974. And also was changed about the 2025 schedule. Slap shoes. You're finally gonna get your wish. You wanted NASCAR. You wanted the Sprint Cup. You wanted the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series to go to the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium. Slap Shoes has finally got his wish. There will be a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race held at Bowman Gray Stadium for the first time since 1974. There will be a Cup race at Bowman Gray Stadium. It'll be a non-points race, but it does count as a Cup Series race at Bowman Gray Stadium. The Clash is being removed from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in California, and it's now going to the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium. I really can't wait to see what this race is going to bring up at Bowman Gray. Slap Shoes has finally got his wish. The Sprint Cup Series is going to have a race at Bowman Gray at the very beginning of the season. Before the Speed Weeks at Daytona begins, before the anticipation and the excitement begins for the Daytona 500, we're finally going to get a race at Bowman Gray Stadium. The Clash. Before the season begins, before the qualifications, before the Gatorade duels at Daytona, before the Xfinity Series, before the Truck Series version of the Daytona 500, before the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500, and before the Daytona 500 itself, Slap Shoes is finally going to get his wish. The Sprint Cup Series is going to the Madhouse for the Clash. The Bowman Gray Stadium. And also, what's new about the 2025 schedule? What's new about the 2025 schedule? Richmond International Race. Richmond is going to lose a date, sadly. Richmond is losing a date to Mexico City. Now I know some of the fans aren't happy about it. Dale Jr. discussed it. Yeah, Dale Jr. I think he discussed it about his podcast about his opinions on Richmond losing the possibility of losing a date in the schedule. And now his doubts finally happened. To Dale Jr.'s dismay. To Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s dismay. Richmond is finally losing the date. Richmond's going to have one race. Richmond's only going to have one race in the schedule for 2025, and it's closer to the playoffs in 2025. I really didn't want that to happen, and I really do feel bad for Dale Jr. because obviously Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't want that to happen to Richmond either. But this is my likes about the 2025 schedule, not my dislikes. What I like about the 2025 schedule, besides those changes, is that I think 2025 is going to be a great season. The new TV deals, new tracks, Madhouse coming back, Bowman Gray Stadium coming back, hosting the Clash. I think it's going to be a great season.